I wouldn't answer the question as to why I think this community needs it. I think any community where there's an educational facility having any form of teaching and learning with our students, that there must be a culturally responsive component built in. And that's simply because we've seen time and time again teachers coming into our system from different backgrounds, and whether they're culturally different or socioeconomically not attuned to the students they're educating, there's an instant barrier that happens, whether it's unconscious or consciously. There's a lack of understanding of what our students deal with from day to day, knowing who they are. And if teachers don't come in with that training and understanding, I think that students lose a lot, as well as the teachers lose a lot, as far as getting what education we can get from our students, and vice versa. In addition, there's been such a lack of culturally responsive teaching and education. Although we talk about it, I haven't really seen it. And I know for myself, it wasn't until I got to college where I was able to take Black and Hispanic studies classes to really learn about myself and my culture and my background and traditions that I never knew of. So I want our students to get that before going to college. I think they deserve it. I think it's their right to have it. So that's why I think the cultural responsive training is so important within our school. Once we sign on as being educators, I think we commit to being lifelong learners at the same time. And if you're true to that notion as an educator, I'm also a lifelong learner, it will be at everyone's deficit to not explore the areas that really prohibit our students from moving forward in so many ways. So whether there's oppressive thoughts or theories happening within the curriculum or within teaching styles, consciously or unconsciously, our students are still facing a world of oppression in so many different ways. Whether it's the sexisms, any of the isms, racisms, and our students need to be equipped with how to deal with that once they leave our doors. So it's really not good enough to say we create a safe environment within our school. All students feel safe here, all students are respected. That's nice. But what happens in the outside world when they may not be respected or may not feel safe? How do they find their voice? How do they name it? How do they call it? And I think that we owe that to them. And as lifelong learners, we owe it to ourselves not to be dishonest with what we know how to deal with when we leave our doors. We take for granted the experiences and what we've learned that help us metacognitively make better choices. I've had a group of outside trainers come in and work with the staff very closely in training them about institutionalized racism and biases and all of the different isms that exist and privilege, and how that plays a role in how they teach our students. So we had to really touch some very personal places in order for teachers to be honest about how their prior thoughts or how they've been conditioned to think has really prevented them from opening up a different door of education through this cultural lens that they haven't attempted to touch yet. So one piece is the training that happens with in-class observation, looking at student work, even looking at room arrangements, looking at how teachers put up student work. And then we organized a liberation book club. So everyone in the school building, teachers, paraprofessionals, school aide, secretary, parent coordinator, administrators, and all of our advisors are part of the book club. And every book we switch up the groups so that people are learning from each other and bringing their different opinions into the conversation. We break up the books by chapters so that not one person is asked to read the whole book, and that's done purposely so that when we come together, we're depending on each other to get the pieces of the book. In addition, every book they read, we started with Pedagogy of the Oppressed. It wasn't as much as reading Pedagogy of the Oppressed as much as it was what are we taking from Pedagogy of the Oppressed and what are the implications for what we're doing or not doing at Liberation and Home
Actually, it was somewhat organic, if you say. So we were just having a discussion about the book club. So as a result of that, some teachers decided to create a course that addresses some of these issues. Because one of the ideas was that everyone would go back to their class and think about culturally responsive teaching and learning in every aspect, in terms of gender, race, everything. So that every student see himself in the curriculum. So that way they can really feel attached to the curriculum, and that would help them with scaffolding. However, we went a step further, and there are other classes that were designed that were specifically based on cultural responsiveness, like theater and oppression. So that's the theme of the entire course. And there's another one, arts and oppression, I think that name of that. So they're expressing themselves through art. So they would learn about various types of oppression, and at the same time respond to it, identify themselves in it, etc. So it would educate those classes of students that are taking those courses on certain topics. And so there's a holistic view of it should be addressed in every class, and also there are specific courses designed to meet those.
As an educator, you can think that you are well versed in that area, and think that you're being diverse, and that you're meeting the needs of all of the different aspects of the classroom. But in looking at the work that we were doing and really being exposed to the depth of the topic, it really kind of challenged me to look deeper and see that there were more connections that I could make and more more relevant things that I could do. I designed a course that was called College Writing, and I picked things that I wanted to pick that I knew that they would be exposed to in college, whether it was a regular English class or a remedial class, and I wanted those ideas to focus on issues of social justice, alienation, race, and things of that nature. So we started with the metamorphosis, kind of just that theme of alienation, and how society deals with differences to kind of set the stage. And then we moved on to Native Son by Richard Wright. We had an assignment where when Bigger is first going to Dalton House for an interview, he is conscious of the fact that he's walking alone at night in a white neighborhood, in a rich white neighborhood, and he is thinking about what's going to happen if the cops stop him. And so that tied into what happened with the Henry States incident in July, where he was coming back from vacation, and someone thought that his house was being robbed. And what I did was I printed out that information, and I had them, kind of tie into that both of these things. You're talking about over 40 years, but this idea still existing, when someone sees a difference or someone different, automatically the worst is thought. So I had them respond to the incident and write personal narratives about, their feelings about what happened, and what it brought up in them, relating to their own experiences, if something similar to that has happened.